Hey everyone, it's Angie Coley, and today I wanted to talk about something I don't think we talk about enough in business and entrepreneurship, and that is emotions and feelings. And this isn't an attempt to get woo-woo, this isn't an attempt to feminize anything, this is my attempt to bring some perspective to something that I think affects us all to some extent or another, and when handled improperly, it can have serious repercussions that we might not even be able to see. So, feelings are something, I'll preface this by saying that feelings are something that happen, and the thoughts are something that accompany them. One can trigger the other, but they are actually two separate things. And so if you force yourself to slow down and monitor your thoughts when you're in the grips of a powerful emotion, you can see that they usually wind up kind of cyclical. Like you'll feel very strongly and your thoughts will echo those feelings and justify them almost to an extent. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I see it happen a lot where something is happening in our personal lives that has a profound effect, especially right now there's a lot of protests and there's a lot of illness and there's a lot of people losing their jobs and there's just a lot of tension. And it's really easy to get overwhelmed by that and then make the decision that I'm going to push this down and get business done. And you can do that for a while, but those feelings want to be dealt with, and that's why they're popping up to begin with. And the longer you push them down and don't deal with them, the more likely it is that they're going to pop up in a completely inappropriate, completely unrelated situation and cause a lot of blowback that you didn't intend. And I think that's how a lot of good people really get into trouble with people around them and kind of taking their frustration out on people that were never meant to bear that frustration, but it just came out because you couldn't hold on to it anymore. I'll give an example that happened recently. I went out, I've started walking in the morning to really help balance my own mental health, and last week I opened my front door and saw that somebody had stolen my bike. They had brought like industrial cable cutters. The cable that I had on that thing was like this thick, and they sliced through the thing and my bike was gone. And I was pissed. It felt like a violation. There were people that were near my house. They could have come in my house. I felt unsafe. I felt just righteously pissed that somebody took something that didn't belong to them. So I peeked my head back in the door and I told my boyfriend that the bike was gone, and then I just put my headphones on and I decided to do the walk anyway. And I listened to something. At first I wanted to listen to some metal because that's my personality, but I just decided to listen to the podcast I initially had planned for this walk. I decided to take the walk that I had planned for myself before I discovered all this and just let it ride for a minute. And taking that breath, now I want to point out the difference between deciding to push something down and not deal with it and deciding to separate myself from the intensity of it. Because it's easy to mistake one for the other. But what I did is not avoid dealing with it. I gave it space and decided to let my heart rate come back down, decided to let my thoughts stop racing. And, when you get that mad, you just want to punch things. I know, I just want to punch things. I imagine myself the star of my very own action flick, just like punching things and walking away slowly as buildings explode behind me. But the reality is I'm really never gonna do that. So fantasizing about it and getting myself good and riled up isn't actually gonna help. What did help was the walk. And coming back and taking a nice hot shower and realizing, okay, I need to file a police report. And I still have work that I need to get done today. I can't let this whole day be gone because I've got some righteous and totally justified anger going on right now. So I did what I could, which was file a police report. I talked to my partner about where we would store bikes in the future when I replaced my bike. I searched for some listings on Craigslist just locally to see if they'd been dumb enough to post it locally, which they weren't, unfortunately. And then I decided to let it go. I am fortunately in a place in my life where that $500 bike isn't going to ruin me. And I've owned it for a couple years, so it's not a recent purchase that it's like, damn, I didn't even get to ride it. I got some good miles out of it. Maybe the person that took it was hungry. Maybe they were one of those people that were desperate and lost their job and they just saw an opportunity. I don't know. I probably never will know. I probably never will see the bike again. I'm probably going to have to get another and figure out how to store it even more securely. But there's not much I can do about it other than decide to deal with it, process the feelings, and move on. And that's, to circle back around to the main point when I opened this video, that was a deliberate choice to give myself some space so that I could come back and examine those feelings under daylight and see them for what they were, instead of, I'm pissed, that person, how dare they, I'm gonna rain fire on them. And old Angie definitely would have been on the warpath and trying to hunt this person down and calling every single pawn shop around here. I'm just gonna hope that it went somewhere where someone really needed it to get to work, or they sold it for parts or for cash to get their family food. I'm going to be grateful that I had the opportunity to have that bike in my life and that I have the ability to get myself another one. I'm going to be sad that that's a thing that happens where, you work hard and you bought something and somebody took it from you and there's not much you can do about it. And then I'm going to let it go and I'm going to go get some shit done. So when we work in business as entrepreneurs, as much as we like to think that there's a business life and a personal life and that we can keep them separate, it's not really something that happens when you're the one that runs the show. What's happening in your personal life affects what's happening in your business life. I know several years back I went through a devastating breakup and it was all I could do just to get up in the mornings, let alone keep the wheels turning on this business that I built. But it has a real impact on what you're doing. So you can't avoid dealing with them just to get business done. All right? So if there's one thing that you take away from this, it's not separate your business and your personal life, be two completely different people. The serious professional mask when people are dealing with me and I have no personality whatsoever because that's my off work hours. I don't want you to take any of that away from this. I want you to take away from this that feelings pop up for a reason and they're there to be dealt with. And if you don't deal with them and make some decisions about them and think through why you're feeling them and what you can get from these feelings, what are they trying to teach you? What are they trying to get you to do? If you don't learn from them, they're going to pop up and they're going to make you chew out a client that didn't do anything wrong, or they're going to make you yell at a kid. They're going to make you bust out crying in the middle of the grocery store because you saw something that reminded you of your ex. So that's what I've got for you today. It's a little bit heavier than I intended, but hopefully it helps out, and let's go kick some ass.